After years of light rail promises, which have been light on delivery, the government's finally committed to an option for Auckland.
They're going with a mixture of overground and tunnelling, which has delighted business owners on Dominion Road.
It's projected to cost almost $15 billion. And as Amelia Wade reports, the government's got some creative funding ideas.
Halfway down Dominion Road, they're mostly feeling better now. Restaurant rows being spared the chaos of constructing light rail.
Good.
Good.
So you know how it is, it's going to take 10 years now instead of 2.
Still on the bike.
No difference.
A massive day for the super city. Finally, the government's made up its mind.
Cabinet has met and now endorsed tunnel light rail for the city centre to Mangere corridor.
Starting at the airport, the tram will run overground next to State Highway 25 through Mangere, Onehunga and onto Mount Roscoe. It'll then pop underground and carry into Kingsland past the universities and for now finish at Wynyard Quarter, but will eventually go over to the North Shore. The 24k route will have up to 18 stations and run every 5 minutes. Just turn up and go.
This is the biggest thing that has ever happened to Auckland.
The plan is eventually to have a fully connected network, London style, with trams, trains, buses and ferries linking Tamaki Makaurau from the north, south, east and west, which all sounds very expensive. At this stage, it'll be about $15 billion.
And the question, how do we pay for it, will be one of the first things I'm sure I'll hear.
The Finance Minister wasn't wrong.
So what are you looking at?
Well, as I said earlier on, there are a range of options.
Taxpayers will pay for the lion's share and Robertson wants to borrow to build.
If central government is serious about this kind of nation and city building project, then we do have to have a slightly different conversation in New Zealand about public debt.
If the only way this stacks up is for the taxpayer to borrow and prop it up, then maybe the project doesn't actually add up.
But it's not just the public purse bankrolling the project. If light rail adds to the value of your property, you could end up getting taxed for it.
I don't think that anyone would think it would be fair that with such significant public investment going into this project, that some people might swoop up land and make windfall gains off the back of that public investment.
Met with mixed feelings in Mount Eden.
No, I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
There's much easier ways of spending, was it 14 billion?
I mean, if you're going to have the service, you need to pay for it, right? It's going to come from somewhere.
But the North Shore might be left a bit cross about a possible new harbour crossing. There'll be another year of talks before a decision on what, where and when. The Transport Minister promises it's not a backtrack.
Quite to the contrary, we are bringing forward the timelines.
The number one priority has to be a second harbour crossing. That has to be what gets delivered here in Auckland.
Aucklanders have heard the light rail promise before. In fact, there's been so many press releases about it, they reach for over 7 metres when laid back to back.
Well, Amelia, as you mentioned there, we've heard all these promises before. So is light rail going to be light years away?
Yeah, the government's promising to get shovels in the ground next year. But that's election year and National's promising if it gets in, this project goes straight in the bin. The Transport Minister reckons it's going to take about 6 to 8 years to build this thing, but transport projects are notorious for blowouts in both cost and time. So it could be at least until 2031 before Aucklanders can get on a tram and go to the airport. And that's only if light rail actually manages to stay on track.
Amelia Wade, thank you.